right, Kelly, we go to Las Vegas, where Kyle Larson has won the last 2 times, which has got to be just a joy to everybody that's watched him dominate 2 of the last 4 races.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't set things up right from the get-go of what we're going to expect this weekend, right? It probably takes the winds out of a lot of people's sails. But you know what? I think either way, whether he'd won those 2 races or not, I think you start with the Hendrick Motorsports drivers. I expect he and William Byron to be very fast this weekend, and Chase Elliott. So the Hendrick cars in general. And then you look at a guy like Denny Hamlin. I expect Denny in the Toyotas to be fast. Denny was very good and pretty solid at Kansas, which gets overshadowed a little bit because his team struggled on pit road that day. So he probably should have finished better than where he finished, where he clawed back to. The concern when I say Toyota, though, is Tyler Reddick, because Tyler, for as good as he was to end the regular season, that team has just not been getting it done. They don't have the same speed, and he admits this. We haven't changed anything, but something's not there. So now, with them going back to 1.5 miles, this weekend will be a true test of how far off that team really is. And then from there, obviously the wild card is the guy that we talked about earlier in the show, is Joey Logano, because he's a former Las Vegas winner. He believes that his team can get it done. He believes his team has been getting better as the year has gone on. All right, well, here we are. It's crunch time now. Show us, right? Show me what you've got. And he did a little bit, if we're talking about 1.5 miles at Kansas. He showed a little bit early in one of the stages at Kansas that maybe they do have some speed there. So that's where I'm looking right there. I think you start with the expected favorites with the Hendrick cars, and then from there we trickle down to, okay, Denny, show me what you got, because I expect you to have speed. What's the concern around Tyler Reddick? And then throw in, Joey is Joey, and if he's really gonna pop up, this is gonna be the weekend where he's gonna do it.
Well, Deb, how big is Las Vegas, considering that a win at Las Vegas gives you 2 weeks to get ready for Phoenix?
That's always important, but it's not as important as it used to be because of the way the current Cup car is. You're not building, you're not massaging, you're not fabricating and all the way you used to do with the cars, because they're basically spec cars now. And so, yes, you like to have that so that you can breathe a little easier, know you're in the championship for, and maybe look at strategy and prepare that way and try some different things. But it's not as critical as it used to be when you could really build a car from the ground up specifically for that race.
You see the same thing, Kelly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's always important, right? Because you can focus on getting your mentality right, getting your team right. They know they're racing for a championship. Okay, let's try to keep our momentum up. Let's keep our mind up. What car are we going to set aside, or what car are we racing that, what can we do to it? Yes, it's a little bit different because, as Deb said, you're not massaging on it, right? You're not doing all the things you can do when you can really mess with your own race cars. But there are still things that you can do to get your best piece ready. So I think from a mindset perspective, to come out and win the first race and know we're going to Phoenix is never a bad thing. And then from there, it's, okay, how can we make sure that we are as buttoned up as possible by the time we get to Phoenix?
Does it help? I mean, we were looking at, you got 3 Hendrick cars still in it. You got 2 Penske cars still in it. You've got, 2 Gibbs cars still in it. And then you got the 2311 car still there. I mean, any advantage or disadvantage in having multiple cars because you're dividing resources back at home, or are you better off with being the single car team out there? Deb?
Well, I know that Penske said last year that when they got down and they only had Blaney, they had the other teams trying different things in different races to see what would benefit. So it's kind of like Chase Briscoe was at Stewart-Haas Racing. Everybody was focused on him, and you weren't looking at what everybody else had. So, 2311 Racing, granted they've only got 2 cars, but they can focus their resources on Tyler for getting him through to the championship race. Yes, they want Bubba to win a race this year, but they can focus more resources on Tyler. Whereas with the others, then you need to spread it out a little bit more. But I still think it's going to come down to a Hendrick Penske championship.
Interesting. Christopher Bell, can he make it 3 in a row?
Oh, absolutely. I think Christopher Bell is once again flying under the radar, and I'd asked him about that over the weekend. Because again, they're a team that's just doing what they need to do. They haven't been in danger in the playoffs. They haven't won a race, but they're doing what they need to. They're running up front. They're getting points, and they're putting themselves in the right position. But that's another team that at any given weekend can go out and rip one off and dominate. We saw him do it at Homestead last year. We saw him nearly win Las Vegas last year. That amazing battle with Kyle Larson at Las Vegas to kick off the round. So, and we've seen him walk it off at Martinsville when he's needed to. So, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm bad. North Carolina allergies are no joke.
Yep.
So yeah, he's someone that, as I said, I think he's flying under the radar, but he shouldn't be, because this is a team that can get it done anywhere. And I truly believe that. So, the great thing that I really like about this round, Brett, is when you look at these racetracks and you look at these 8 drivers, these next 3 weeks are really going to show us who's the best of the best, who's got their stuff buttoned up at the right time of the year, and who is fast. Because these 3 tracks, I mean, Martinsville, maybe not so much, but these first 2 tracks, it's speed. You have got to be fast. So I love this round because I think we're back to our straight up traditional, let these 8 guys go out and fight for it, and let's see who's still left standing.
And you can't have any mistakes on pit road either because of that. It'll be, the pit road's always critical, but it's even going to be more critical these next 3 races.